Thank you so much for accepting the interviews. And first, a little bit short introduce yourself, please. Maybe from Michael.
Sure. My name is Michael Chen, and I'm the co-CEO of H2 Group. Originally from the United States, lived in Hong Kong, and now have moved to Niseco.
Okay.
Simon Robinson, co-CEO of H2 Group, Australian, but I've been living here in Niseco 19 years.
Really?
19 years, yeah. So this is my 19th straight winter.
Nowadays it's the Niseco. It's like a famous, very famous Niseco, but that before, right? The not so famous.
Yes. When I first came here, was in 2001, and I used to go skiing every year. I'd normally go to America or Europe, okay? And a guy that worked for me used to be an English teacher in Osaka. And he would say to me for 3 years straight, he'd say, Simon, go to Japan. And every single time I would look at the altitude chart and Harafu's 300 meters. And I'd say, you've got to be kidding, there can't be any great snow at 300 meters. But in say December, I'd left the booking so late I couldn't go to Europe. The only place that I could get here to was Japan. So I came here first of all with Peter Murphy. In those days it was called Snow Wave. And I stayed at Usker Lodge in the lower village. I had no idea it was the best accommodation that there was in the whole place. And I had 2 weeks of the most amazing skiing that any man should ever have. And I haven't skied anywhere else since, except for heli skiing. So the way that fate would have it, I'd gone back to book to come back for a month, and 1 week before we were about to come back, there was huge bushfires in Australia, and my business burnt down and my house burnt down, and that kind of opened up the door for us to be thinking about other things. And so we bought our first piece of land, First Tracks, in 2003, and that's in those days it was a very frontier town. It was a mixture of old pensions and school groups and really funky, like sort of portable bars and restaurants, and literally if you saw another Westerner, you would run across the road and introduce yourself because there was so few of us. So we're here. I was there in those very earlier days. The people before me, of course, is like Ross Finlay and Ross Cardi, the Benko. They were there before me. But I've been here for quite a long time.
How about Michael? So when it's the first time to come to Niseco?
The first time I came was 2009, 2010 season. Right in the middle of that season, and it was like this season. It was incredible amount of snow. In fact, I came up by myself with my 3 little kids. They were, I think, 5, 7, and 8 years old at the time. And I had never been here. A friend recommended it, and we didn't even know where we were going. We took them from the airport, landed where Sansui is now. There was a little cafe there. We got dropped off there. We couldn't check in yet, and it was just blinding snow, just a complete whiteout. And we were staying here at the Gondola Chalet. I had the 3 little kids when we could check in. I took all the 3 little kids in their hands and our luggage, and we walked through knee-high snow.
You did?
All the way across to Gondola Chalet, and that was our introduction to Niseco. And we've been coming back ever since, and now we moved here. So, they didn't have Google Maps then, so I had this paper map, and it was like, the wind was gusting, it was getting wet, and I was trying to figure out where I was going. And I mean, however long, that 200-meter walk through the snow, dragging luggage and kids.
We cannot imagine you did. So the first that you have the Hakuchozan, right?
We opened Hakuchozan in February of 2016.
2016, and then here the Hakubira,
December 2019.
So now the Hokkaido trucks and the Haku Rides work together in the H2 group.
H2 group. Correct.
So why you choose the merge together?
We're both just very optimistic and about the future of Hokkaido and Niseco particularly. On a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of development, it's probably still at a 6. So there's in terms of room to grow. So we're very excited about the future, and we think the future brings with it more people who want a higher level of service across all the way they interact with real estate. So whether they're buying a home, they're building something, they're having something managed, or there are guests coming to visit. They want more service, they want a better experience. And so we just thought the combination of the companies gave us a stronger platform to meet the demands of the future, and positions us to really provide the types of products and services that the future investors and visitors and guests and owners want.
Well, as you know, I've been running businesses here for years, and obviously I used to own 50% of HTM, and so now the business model that the majority of the village is working on, Matt Denning and I bought here in 2003, and it was based on apartments, beachside apartments in Noosa Heads, you know, where very low service. People would basically come in, you'd give them the key, you'd see them in a week later. So for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been very, very aware that the model that we're working on isn't the model for the future. So the property management side. So when Matt and I went separate directions, I kept the real estate side of the business. So real estate, project management, development, and the asset management side. And as we grew again, we still had this same management platform, and I kept on looking at this and saying, it doesn't work, we've got to do something different. And then Michael came on board, and what he introduced with Hakuchozan was, I just couldn't believe it, the sense that he actually had a model that was, and we were working with Michael as well, so we were providing back-end services into what Michael was providing, so we had some insight into what he was doing. And it fascinated me in the sense that the level of service that he was providing, but really surprised me, was the level of occupancy that he was getting. So I'm going, here we are, the highest room rate in the village, and the occupancy is the same as or maybe even better than the budget properties. So I'm going, it's not price, it's people are looking for something different. And you know, seriously, from my perspective as an Australian living in Japan, is that the Australian market now is a much smaller sector. And so what we're looking at now is, of course, it's the Asian market, and their expectations are quite different. And so for a few years I've been thinking about something, and then Michael and I touched base, and then we touched base again. Timing's a wonderful thing, right? So it was, Michael was thinking about opportunities to expand, and actually for us, coming together is not about COVID. Coming together is about opportunity. COVID actually probably works in our favour a little bit, because it gives us a chance to mature as an organisation when it's a little bit quieter. So it's getting ready for the future.
Give the property, then the people, the guests just stay.
Yeah.
And then they just contact on the check-in, the check-out, and then done.
Yes.
But your service is totally different.
Yeah, well, look, if you look at the greatest destinations around the world, whether in Europe in Courchevelles or Mount Verbier, or in the US, North America, at Whistler, Vail, Aspen, service is a really important component of this experience, and guests expect it. It hasn't been so here, but it's coming. And so with Aman coming in, the Ritz-Carlton Park Hyatt, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the traditional model, because these are very high service brands, very good at what they do. It's going to lift the expectations of the guests coming into this market, and that's what we're trying to get ahead of. People work very hard in their lives. They want to come on a holiday here. They don't want to clean themselves. They don't want to cook themselves. They want to have an experience. But what's nice about chalets and apartments is you have a home away from home feeling. But if you can combine that with an overlay of service, where it's like you're at a 5-star hotel, that's the ultimate getaway, right? Some people like a hotel, some people like more of a home environment. in a home environment where you have certain facilities, you have living room, you have living space, you can entertain. If that comes with service, that's just a fantastic offering.
But this is like the world standard for the luxury market.
We have a wide range of quality tiers, service tiers for our properties. We have over 100 properties. Haku Life Collection is at the very top, so Haku Chosen and Haku Villas. We also have what we call an H2 Luxury Collection and a Signature Series. And they all have elevated service, just different amounts of it. Haku Life Collection, it is what we think is a world standard. It attracts people who come in on their private jets, that mega yacht for the Mediterranean for a week or two, will go to Aspen and stay in a mansion there with service. And so that is the expectation. And all of our service, almost all of our service staff come from the top hospitality schools. They come from 5-star hotels. They've worked at the Four Seasons, at Amman, Ritz-Carlton, St. Regis. Those are where we pull our service staff from.
From my position, when Michael and I were talking, it was that component that really appealed to rounding out our model. So Hokkaido Tracks, in many ways, is a technical organisation. So we're experts in real estate transactions, we're experts in constructions, we're experts in management. In Michael's team, he has those components as well. But in Michael's team, they are experts in service, and so when you actually get to meet the team, they are true hospitality people. They're true. And actually, for us being together and having these hospitality people at our front desk, it's just lovely. You know, they're warm, they're greeting, and I know that when the world starts to change, which it will, we will start to see that coming, and then this summer and then a little beyond, that sort of component will be memorable, not well received, but remembered.
I just hear from your staff that about the service, your service, it starts from the reservation, right?
Yes,
then
it's the entire experience.
Then when check in, Niseco's experience is not only in Niseko, starting from the reservation, and then maybe after the Niseko, your relationship with guests and staff will continue.
Working with Michael, and when we've had special guests here in recent times, the communication that's going on in the background to ensure that the experience is seamless. Now, the guests would have no idea, but the staff are briefing each other the whole way in regards to, obviously this is at the premium, and then
and that's what would happen in a 5-star hotel, in the very top brands. If you went to a Ritz-Carlton, a Four Seasons, that sort of hospitality communication, guest connection happens in the background of all those brands. That's why those brands are so great. We're trying to be at least that good and take it up a level. And we view these relationships as you described, lasting beyond their Niseko experience, starting way before they come until way after they leave, until they come again. And there's lots of ways we keep connecting with the guests.
And I have to say, what's provided here is more personal. This is actually one step up again. Would you agree with that?
Yep, it was always room for improvement. But our aspirations are to deliver exquisite service, sensational memories, which is our mission as a company.
This H2 group will be maybe a little bit change to the entire Niseko area, I guess.
We want to do inspiring things. We do want to take leadership and bring higher levels of service, innovation into the market, to keep the market fresh for everybody, for the local community, for visiting guests, and for owners that have invested here. To keep the area lively and attractive and vibrant, to keep property prices growing for the investors in local community, there needs to be constant change and innovation. There needs to be, and we want to be part of that. We want to lead that, and that's one of the things we're really excited about.
So Michael did something last year, which he has a passion for golf, and I'm a new golfer. and he put on an event called the Jolly Fox. And
Yeah. I saw it.
No. And that was a community event. But we, as people organise, golfing events, but never had we seen anything that had been so well thought through and then curated and delivered. And I can see that that's actually part of the platform moving forward. That sort of
this area has this incredible natural programming, which is the ski mountain in the summer seasons, all the natural beauty of the area. But we can add human programming in, whether it's a golf tournament, a sensational golf tournament, whether it's bringing artists here, just having more activities and things of interest that would make either living here much better and visiting here much better.
And we really want to concentrate on non-peak at times, right? So shoulder periods, things that actually we can bring people into the area. I mean, obviously, Christmas, New Year and Chinese New Year are always going to be high demand, or as is peak winter.
Yeah.
So the trick is, in actual fact, is how do we actually fill up the areas around that, and events of this kind are the sort of things that actually work. We can grow.
Yeah.
A better economy, something more stable. Yeah, people can have jobs year round. It's easier for restaurants to stay open, stores to come, and people to invest. If people can see how this market can be a year-round market, like Whistler did. Whistler has successfully made that transition. For a long time, Whistler was just like Niseko, only winter. But then they built out the year-round calendar, and it's been a huge success story.
One of the great things that have occurred in a really challenging time is the realisation that we've always just tiptoed around the Japanese market, the domestic market. We haven't really actually focused on it, but certainly Michael's putting a lot of effort into understanding how to do that, as are other organisations as well. So I see, as we come out of this period, that there's the potential of the region actually being better rounded, as in not just focused on the white season. I mean, we've always spoken about the green season. We always talk what we want to see, and dragging in, and not dragging in, but appealing to more so back into the domestic market. I see that as one of the positive outcomes of this tricky time.
What the COVID brought you, it's also damage, or do you wanna think about for the near future after COVID?
I think after COVID, once the world figures out how to properly vaccinate, certify, and people feel safe to travel again, I think this place will be so popular. Probably maybe more popular than before, because now there's a greater sensitivity to open spaces, to nature, to health and wellness. There's a greater, I think that coming out of being in quarantine in so many of these cities, there's a greater appreciation for being out in nature. And so this will be, I think, one of the most appealing destinations in all the world.
Yeah. So I mean, I think most people, when we first are allowed to travel again, it'll be family. If you're living abroad, right? But after that, when people start thinking about recreational travel, how would you feel about going to Europe at the moment? Or how would you feel like going to the States at the moment, right? When you think about Japan actually, that's what on the platform that just Michael spoke about in regards to, it's a rural setting. We've got space, we've got fresh air, we've got health. I agree completely. I think that we will see. I think the upside will take longer than we want, and then we'll recover quicker than we expect. That's probably what I expect.
So at the last, maybe the H2 group is definitely proceed as a leading company in Niseko. So can I hear about the future plan?
Just sum up the future for the last. I don't know.
You can talk.
You can't show it on video though.
Yeah. So we are in a unique opportunity because we have have a defined plan for the future. We brought 2 quality companies together. We now have a very unique and diverse skill set, and to date we've been able to protect our teams. And so our teams are intact, right? Which means that when property owners or developers or interested parties are looking around the region, they're looking for organisations where the doors are open and prepared and doing business. That's what we're doing. We're still doing business. So that actually brings to our doorstep more people to talk to, because of the fact that we're open and operating. We haven't shut down. So from my perspective, it's about fine-tuning what we're doing. And so Michael brings in a level of corporate professionalism so we're tapping into his skill set to actual fact to tidy up the processes and the way that we operate internally. Okay, he also brings in a very wonderful networking and sales experience, and I'm getting a little bit older than he is, right? So it's nice to actually come in and have that energy coming back into the organisation. So we're really just freshening ourselves up, and
well, I think we're going to continue to look for very interesting projects to get involved with, and where that projects that can benefit from innovative thinking, from pushing the envelope, projects that want a component of service or want a component of service design. Designing, for example, a home or a hotel, condo hotel, designed for serviceability. We want to get ourselves involved in those types of initiatives, and with developers, helping homeowners and investors. And then on the hospitality side, as Simon mentioned, we are looking forward to activating new markets, introducing the segment to new markets.
But also to protecting the assets of our existing owners, right? So what we have, I think it's well over 100 properties, 140 properties, and lots of villas, lots of homes, right? And we offer something different into the marketplace. It means that their properties will achieve higher room rates, higher level of service, and it protects their asset. And so it's the combination of taking care of the existing platform, and by doing that we can grow the platform into these other areas. So, which we're already seeing, there's interest daily. Doesn't mean it turns into something daily, but there's interest daily.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe we'll just look forward to hearing the big news from the H2 group, right?
Don't forget we have to get through. I mean, it's. I mean, the next little while for all of us, everybody, because there's still such a level of uncertainty in regards to what's going to happen, whether we can move, how we're going to move. I mean, I've already had way too much good skiing, so I think it's time for spring.